There I am. Good afternoon and welcome to the market close. Holy banana bread. We got ourselves a pretty good red day happening today. Um, Seriously, red day. Take a look. Take a look at this. So here is the TSX today. And guys, we touched the blue line, the break even mark for the month. So we're a whisker away from being into a red month. So, oh boy, we definitely had a lot of red on the market. And the bleeding is not just on the TSX, the bleeding's everywhere. Everything, you name it, crypto, every market deep in the red, all kinds of fun stuff going on. A lot of it is fear-based, and we're definitely going to talk more about it as we move on in the show. But holy banana bread, that's the only words I have for today. Whew. All right. Well, let's get through these charts. Let's get through these charts. We got the TSX down 1.29%. The S&P 500, they're down 1.7. Whoops, come on, 1.73%, and they're a little bit higher above the blue. So they haven't. They've got a little bit more of a buffer than what we currently have right now. Nasdaq is down 1.98%, and they're quite a ways above the blue. So the US is doing a little better than Canada, and that does make sense. Dow Jones down 1.75, and they have moved into red month territory. So the Dow Jones definitely being hit harder than anybody else. Gold is down 0.11%. Silver's down a full 1.31%. Oil, WTI, West Texas Intermediate, down a full 2.89%. And as I mentioned before, both Bitcoin and Ethereum down slightly more than 3%. So get your eyes ready for some red, because let's head into the map here. And as you can see, we got a lot of red. We got a lot of red for sure. Couple of standout things here. Manulife Financial down 3.94%. Alimentation Couche-Tard down 1.18%. The railroads, well, CNR is up a little bit, so we got a little bit of a reprise there. Here's another interesting thing, though. Bell's actually weathering today pretty well. They're up 2.10%, and TELUS not that far off either, up 1.51%. All right, let's take a look at the U.S. heat map. It looks like there's a lot more red. It feels more red to me. We got some of the big hitters like Tesla down a full 5.15%. Nvidia's down 3.85%. Google's down. Microsoft's down. Meta's down. Amazon down 3.18%. Walmart down 2.50%. And Walmart, they started a little bit of the fear that's going on today too. I'm not saying that they're fully responsible. They're definitely not, but they contributed a little bit. Walmart yesterday came out with a report on the economy saying, "Buckle up, guys, it's not great." And that sort of got us onto that fear train. And then there's a lot more going on as well. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. The tariffs, for one, it seems like every day, Donald Trump, he comes up with some new ideas for tariffs. And, some of his latest, of course, is he's looking at timber products. He's looking at autos. He's looking at pharmaceuticals. And now he's even talking about a tariff against anybody who uses any kind of a digital tax. So like a DST. If you've got a DST, he's probably going to hit you with a tariff for that as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And I imagine some of the taxes that we're charging on tech companies, all of that online news act stuff, I think he's probably going to target that as well. But that is still kind of in the air at this point in time. All right. Back over, of course, to the U.S. map. Let's, you know what? This is giving me a headache. Let's just go over and look at crypto. Yeah, we got more red. We got more red. Look at this. All of our big hitters are down. XRP down 5.87%. Ethereum 3.53. Solana 3.96. Oh boy. So it is, well, it is a red day. So let's take a look at our random crap coin of the day. So as you guys may know, there's about 15,000 different altcoins out there. Most of them are what I call crap coins. They don't have a lot of function. They might have supposed function. They're not going to make you rich. They're risky as can be. I like to pick a random one. We're going to grab Newt. Here we go. Here's the Newt coin. What does it do? I don't know, but it's worth basically it's worth 0.01 of a penny. So it's not worth very much. When you're looking at stuff like this, guys, read the white paper for one. Find out what it does. Make sure it has some function that that you can get behind. But honestly, it's risky. It's risky. You guys know I'm not a big fan of penny stocks. This is even riskier than a penny stock. So be careful when you're dealing with some of these alt crypto coins, the crap coins. Stick to your big boys, stick to your Bitcoins, your Ethereum, even Dogecoin, and they're down 6.45%, but I'd rather be buying that than Newt. So let's not worry so much about Newt. We got about 9 minutes to the bell. All right, let's actually come back here to the chat. I see we got a lot of folks in here. Jordan, first out of the gate with, hey there, Candace. Hope you're well on this fine Friday. Doing okay. You know, it was a busy day getting the news ready for the weekend. And yeah, definitely interesting. Max says, good afternoon, all. Rahul says, what the hell happened? Yeah, so we got fear in the market right across the board. There's actually quite a bit of fear in general. So there's basically about 5 big things happening. One, of course, there's some economic data that comes out today. It's not one that we normally follow. It's something called the Purchasing Managers Index. It came out and it kind of unexpectedly, we weren't expecting this to happen, but it entered contraction territory. And that's making people think about inflation, and it's making people think about a little thing called stagflation. So a little bit of fear around that on the US market. And I also mentioned the tariffs. The tariffs have absolutely been on everybody's mind. You know, are they coming? How many are coming? How bad is it going to be? That is all starting to really kind of hit the fan. And then I mentioned as well Walmart, and they gave a big warning about the economy. They also had weak earnings guidance because of people are backing off. A lot of investors are starting to put things into cash. They're sort of taking the Warren Buffett route, and that's not a bad thing at all. Okay, if we think that is enough, there's also a lot of feeling that the market is currently way overvalued. And, you know, if that overvaluation is any indication, some people fear that could mean we're headed for a big drop. I don't necessarily subscribe to that, but I do understand why people would think that. So that's another big issue. And just to add everything together, everybody's getting a little bit crazy about the bird flu at the same time. There was news today that a new animal in the US, and I didn't have a chance to read it. I just read the headline that some new animal apparently tested for bird flu. And they're like, there's a lot of concern about that. Like, you know, what's going on? Are we heading towards basically another pandemic? I don't think so, but you know, they're making the right moves, and that's why there's no food or no eggs, in the United States, because they've had to kill a lot. Now, there was a case, I did hear today that there's a case of the bird flu at a farm in Newfoundland. So, you know, it does hit up on this side of the border. But right now, the US, they've definitely had it big time. All right. Muggsy is in the house. Scary red day for sure. Jonathan says, hold that bell. Yes, you got 5 minutes, Jonathan. 5 minutes for the bell. Tim says Roger Sugar was actually up today until it came out that Hooters has declared bankruptcy following implementation of a DEI program that hired plus size waitresses. Tim, I think you're telling a joke. I think that's a joke. I have not heard anything about I have not heard anything about that. So aha. All right. Harold says S&P 500 hit near record high earlier in week and has now come back to reality a little bit or a lot bit. Yeah. It's it's one of these things. I mean, we are heading towards some dark days indeed. We're heading towards a lot of red. These tariffs are not a great idea. And as they go crazy, as well as the US goes crazy with tariffs, and it's not just that. The other big thing too is Doge. So we're not talking about the coin, we're talking about Elon and his crew. They're just cutting things. They're laying off people left, right, and center. I mean, here tax season is upon us, and they basically laid off thousands of IRS agents. I'm like, okay, this is the time of the year when they're normally hiring, opposed to laying off, because it's about to get very, very busy. But yeah, they're laying off everybody. And I know a lot of things like the James Webb Space Telescope. That it's getting its funding cut, and this is a telescope that there's so many scientists are trying to use it, and there's all kinds of crazy science stories too, and we're going to touch on some of that on the weekend. But oh boy, so we got about, let's see here, what is it, 3:56, almost 3:50. We got about 3 minutes to the bell. So guys, if you're sensitive to noise and you don't like loud noise, in a couple of minutes, you probably want to just pull up your earbuds or just turn the volume down a little bit, letting you know that bell is coming. That bell is coming, and it's a weekend, so I might have a little bit of extra gusto in the bell today. Ian says, Blossom says I'm down 1%. I'm not crying too hard. Well, that's not too bad. Let's see. Please up 0.5%. Yeah, that would be nice. Let's see. Ian says, if you buy that coin, wash your hands after so you don't get pink eye. Yeah, absolutely. Joshua just bought some HPS, so that's Hammond Power Solution. I'm very bullish on Hammond. Even in the down times, they may come down, and I'll be stacking them throughout, whether we get a recession or whatever happens. Because on the other side of all of this, I think it's going to look really, really good. And Harold saying, pick up XEQT and HHIS as prices started dropping. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. I did get some HHIS at a nice, very low price. So I like it. Tom says, I'm so mad at Wealthsimple now. I just wanted to transfer HHIS from my non-registered account to my TFSA. $347. There was some glitch and they transferred 500 and oh my God. Oh, yeah. I would be talking to them to get that fixed, because that could be a big serious issue, like over contribution, big time issue. And Tom says, okay, they said they had it fixed, but now the cost averages are all off. What a mess. Yeah, sometimes with them, if things get really messy, it takes them like overnight to get things fixed. But it sounds like that's an absolute mess. Holy banana bread. Bleak says, hey all, hello. We are about 1 minute, less than a minute to the bell. So just giving you that bell warning. Jersky says, hello, just got here from watching your HUTE video. Thumbs up. Awesome. Yeah, I liked that one. Yeah, that was a good one. I definitely enjoyed that one for big time. I'm a huge fan of utilities, so definitely in my wheelhouse for sure. Mary is in the house with a good afternoon, and of course, normally I will tell you guys to hit the like button. But instead, I'm going to tell you to get ready for that bell, because we got about 16 seconds before the bell, before it's bell time. Once the bell goes though, then definitely hit that like button because it'll be cool. All right, guys, we got 3 seconds. Here we go. Bell time. Woo! All right. It's officially the weekend. So, can we have a peaceful weekend? We're gonna find out. We'll find out. Something tells me that we're not going to have a peaceful weekend. All right, and let's see here. My cost for MSTY was 1208. 1208. I'm not sure where. Let's take a. Well, you know what, guys? Let's take a look. I can pull this up here, and we'll take a gander and see where they are right now. I'm assuming you're talking about the harvest one. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's a big drop. They are down 6.759%. Oh, boy. Yeah, they will be. The nice thing about MicroStrategy is they'll definitely be back up again. But, oh, boy. Yeah, absolutely. Hold on. Hold on. If anything, though, you could always average down. That is another option as well. All right. Let's see. Jonathan says, groovy update to the intro music. Yeah, it's funny. The intro music, it's a whole suite. And normally you only get to hear the warm up to the music. And a lot of times, like if I do it in a short, I just recycle the warm up over and over again. But for the intro music this time, I turned the volume down a little bit, but I added the rest of it. So you hear a little bit of the more as it gets a little more rocky deeper in. So that's, yeah, kind of cool. Now, mind you guys, if you haven't seen the last of this week, I forgot to add, I thought the music was attached after I made the new intro, and it wasn't. So I was sitting here whistling and drinking and burping and all of that stuff. And it was live. It was all live. So everybody got to hear some whistling and burping and slurping. And I'm like, and it was actually funny because afterwards Jill was like, "Oh, you should probably cut that out on the replay." And I'm like, "Nah, you know what? I own my mistakes. I like to own my mistakes." So it's staying because I listened to it and I was very well amused. So I enjoyed it. Tim says, let's see, Bloomberg, Hooters in talks to prepare a bankruptcy filing in coming months. Maybe so. But perhaps not so much about DEI, though. Jersky says, not sure if it was a good day to buy, but I picked up some ENCL. Yeah, that doesn't hurt. I mean, today's a day where, you could definitely average down. I did buy a little bit of Bird Construction. I added that to a little bit. I added only one stock, but I was just like, this is a good price. Got to get in there. Let's see. Today bought some cheap HDIV. Nice. I do like HDIV for sure. David says small gov is a good thing. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the thing is though, if you have an over bloated bureaucracy and you want to get rid of it, you have to be a little bit, I hate to say it, but you have to be a little bit surgical. At least make sure what you're cutting, that you know what the results are going to be, instead of it's that whole look before you leap. The greatest example is when Doge came in and fired all of the nuclear weapons folks. And it's like, once they realized what they had done, they're like, okay, we need to get these people back. These guys are critical. They're critical. And the problem is they're having a hard time reaching a lot of them because, well, they'd already shut off and canceled all of their email addresses. So hopefully they got back enough of those guys to get to do the nuclear weapons stuff. But to me, it's just look before you leap. Yeah, it's great to save money. It's great to sort of make a big government smaller, but you want to make sure you have things streamlined as you're going. You don't want to be picking up the pieces after the fact. It's like, get things in order and then cut. That's the way I would look at it. A little bit more of a logical approach, I guess, opposed to I would rather use a scalpel opposed to a hammer in a case like this. So David says, let's see, a lot of fraud in the US, even more in Canada. There's fraud everywhere. I mean, honestly, I don't think there's a single government in the world that doesn't have an issue with fraud throughout it. And it's everywhere. There's nothing we can do about it. Just we can take it out. And even if you take fraud, if you remove one piece of fraud, you'll get a new piece of fraud that'll pop up. What can I do? What can you do? David says tech is overbought. The sell-off so far is small. Now, mind you guys, the last bear market, we had tech started it. So, the bear market technically began in January, but the tech sell-off began towards the end of the year in 2021. So it could be very interesting. It could be very interesting. Will tech lead the way again when we do go into a bear market? Maybe. I don't know. PLZ and I realize now that you were actually mentioning a stock. when you did that last time, I was thinking that you were saying please, and I was like, what? So yeah, Plaza Retail REIT. Here we go. Let's take a look. Oh, they're having a pretty good day. So as you guys know, I've been bullish on REITs because this is the initial rate cuts right here. And we had this nice move from June up until, well, about October. And then REITs had a bit of an issue. And part of that was just changing some of the immigration. There's other issues as well. But right now, things are looking good. And like we're actually in the whole real estate market, right now, there's more markets. There's more houses coming up on the market because the buyers are there. So there is expected to be strength in that market this year. Now, I'm kind of curious. I haven't been over to RMAX in a bit. Let's go. I just want to see if we're starting to see a little bit of a bounce up. It doesn't look like we're getting, let's go to the 6 months here. So yeah, it's like this was their fall and now they're kind of just moving a little forward, but I'm still pretty optimistic overall. All right. David shorted Apple. Interesting. Now, Apple has this new iPhone 16e that's going to drop. So this is basically a cheap version of the iPhone. So it's about half the price of excuse me. There you go. There's another burp. It's about half the price of a regular iPhone. So, that could be good for Apple. We'll have to see. I haven't had a chance to watch any tech reviews yet on this new iPhone to see if you're getting a half decent outing for half the price. Yeah, no, exactly. Let's see. Most of my entire year profit was gone for one day. Yes, but here's the thing. It's only gone if you sell because, once this fear gets over, we're going to see the market. Well, it's going to be interesting. Next week's going to be interesting because we're getting close because the week after next week is when we might see the beginning of these tariffs. So we'll have to sort of see how that's going to go. But we could see a little bit of recovery in the coming week. But I don't think it's not going to be a great week. But I don't think it'll be as bad as how this has ended. We'll probably even have a green start to Monday as we sort of like we recover a little bit from the big drop. And even then, that's not that the market's doing well. That's just that you're regaining a little bit of what was lost. All right, let's see here. David says, sold HHIS at 13 this morning. We'll buy it back lower. Nice. Now, keep in mind, though, David, if you're doing this in your TFSA, right, you don't want them to be looking at you like you're day trading. So that's one of those things. Like technically in your TFSA, if you sell it at 13 today, you got to wait 30 days to buy it back. Now you could. I'm not encouraging this, but you could buy it back on Monday if it was at 12. But you are taking a risk. You are taking a risk that they could look at you. Now, if you've only done it maybe once or twice, you're probably not going to really incur their wrath. But I I don't even want them looking at me personally. So I personally will follow that rule to the letter. But I'm just putting that out there just to be on the safe side. Anchor Tours, you're in Cuba. What are you doing in Cuba? um, but hi. I guess it's warmer where you are than where I'm at. That's for sure. All right. Utes and Umax defensive. I do I like both of these. I like both of these. For sure. Um, I don't know if I might be doing a deep dive on Utes. I'm not sure what the third one, I can't remember what the third one is that I'm going to be doing for Evolve once we get this EBIT one done. So what can I say? We got Skiz in the house with a happy weekend, everyone. Good to see you, Skiz. It's been a while. David says, Mauled Misty. What a surprise. Ooh, Larry. Hey, Larry. Let's see. Bought puts on Disney for 110 today, up 247%. So I sold 0.7 into 2.5. Nice. Let's see. Company bought a ton of POSCO, PKX. If you look at the long-term chart, it's dropped to this same point, $30, and goes back to 90 and up 5 times. What is that? PKX? Let's take a look at PKX. All right. PKX. Here we go. Whoops. There we go. PKX. POSCO Holdings. All right. And we're going to go. Let's go over. We're going to go to a 10-year. Oh, yeah. Look at this. This is interesting. This is definitely interesting for sure. So you're basically anticipating that we're going to get another movement up from here. And it kind of looks like that's what it's been doing. So interesting play. Maybe a very good play too. All right. Funny Books is in the house with a hi all. And Rory, hi there. I use Questrade Crash Margin for trading. Just have not traded. Fine. I have signed up for Questrade. I'm waiting for them to get things set up. Like quite literally, I signed up like on Monday, and I still don't have my stuff set up yet. It's like I think the first one didn't take, and I used chat to customer service, and they're like, "Oh, it'll be another 1 to 2 days. We'll get it all fixed up," because I want that affiliate code. I know I got a couple of people waiting on it. But hopefully soon. I checked just before I came on, and it still wasn't giving me an affiliate code or anything. So I'm like, come on, Questrade, let's get this together. Dividend Shark says bought in another 20,000 shares of HHIS at 1265. Can't time the bottom. No, you can't. And that's the thing. You really, 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 really can't time the bottom. Sometimes you'll get lucky for sure, but it's I wouldn't count on timing the bottom. That's absolutely true. Luke says, let's see, reddish day today, not the first, not the last, not the worst. Now you see what you are less defensive stock. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, we'll have days like that, days like this. We'll have days that'll make this day look like a walk in the park. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I mean, that's the thing. It's the nature of the market. John says, forget all about PLZ. Oops, turns out there's 500 units of it. Okay, happy. Kenneth says, in TFSA, you don't need to wait 30 days to trade. If it's in non-register account, then you will need to wait 30 days for tax loss purposes. Kenneth, we're not talking about that. We're actually talking about, so in your TFSA, one of the things you're not allowed to do is you're not allowed to day trade in your TFSA. So the frequency of trading is one of the things, the criteria the CRA will use to determine if you're day trading. So the 30 days, and I usually say 31 days, it's basically so that they don't look at it and see it as a business behavior. Now, mind you, I will point out they are pretty vague about it when you actually go to the Canada website, but that tends to be the accepted amongst traders. Now, in your RRSP, you can day trade all you want. They don't care because they're getting all of the taxes on that. But if you do a lot of quick selling, buying and selling basically in a day trading type form, or even short swing trading, they can flag you. And if they flag you, then everything you made, not just the asset that you were trading, everything during that time period that they flagged, all of a sudden it all becomes taxable. So you kind of don't want that to happen, and you really don't want to attract the attention of the CRA because auditing is not fun. Larry says Berkshire earnings are tomorrow. Interesting. I know next Wednesday we're all looking forward to NVIDIA. NVIDIA's happening. Let's see. Luke says, by the way, hi, gang. Have a nice weekend. All right. Your damn it says, hi, Candace. Bought some TFI International today. What are your thoughts on them? Good old TFI. Let's go take a look. I haven't looked at them in a bit, but oh, they're down quite a bit today. Look at that. What is that? 6.246%. Holy banana bread. That's that's a big down. That makes me think they might have had some earnings come in. Let's take a look at that. That's normally when I see a giant leap like that, that's usually the first place I'm going to go. Let's see. TFI International. Here they are down here. All right, let's take a look here. TFI, here it is right here, earnings. So they had their earnings and they didn't do well. So they missed on their earnings by 24.62%. They also missed on their revenue by 5.12%. So investors not liking that. So they will obviously, this is still a good company. They will recover. So this to me might be a good buying opportunity if you're interested in TFI, of course. All right. Skid says, how is the road to 100K portfolio doing? It's trugging along. It's trugging along for sure. This month has mostly been getting stuff down a little bit. So we do a video, of course, every second month. We do a 0 to 100K challenge video. And I also do a community post in the off month where I just break down what I did in that month. But it is slowly climbing its way up there. And we kind of knew this was a challenge that's not going to, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. So basically, I throw in $500 every month and any supers. So anytime you guys throw a super chat or a super sticker or a super thanks, that also goes into that challenge. So kind of cool. Rory says, I missed HOD today. I wanted to buy it at 570 the day before. So HOD guys, today would have been a good day because look at oil. We'll get back over here. Oil's down 3%. So HOD is an inverse ETF. Oh, let's actually get to where there we go. Over here. They're an inverse oil ETF here. So here we go. Beta Pro crude oil inverse leveraged daily bear ETF. So you'll notice today, nice big climb up from, they started the day. Well, let's see here. Where does today start? They started down here a little bit. So part of this is yesterday as well, but between yesterday and today, nice big move up on this. And it's kind of interesting too. If you go back and you sort of look, whenever this is high, that's when oil is low. So it's because it's basically the exact opposite. So, if oil continues to struggle, this could be a good buy. But I always say, be careful. Be careful with these inverse ETFs because you can get burned, especially when you've got one that has leverage as well. So if you're not paying attention, if you have here's one of the, I'll give you a bad scenario with this. Let's say you oil's struggling a bit, so you buy some of this. Then you're like, okay, yeah, I'll check on it a little bit later. You head out and you go and do something. And while you're doing it, somewhere's in the Middle East, some big crisis begins. Holy banana bread. All of a sudden, because of a crisis, a geopolitical price crisis, black swan event, price of oil will explode. And what will happen to this? This will plummet. So it can plummet really, really, really fast. So this is one of these ones that when I do play it, it's all same day play. I do not hold it overnight because I will not take a chance that something will happen. And if by some chance I did and I got caught in a black swan event, then I got to think about it. It's like, do I just take that loss or am I going to ride it out? Because it will always come back. Oil's going to go down, oil's going to go up. But, if that's your trading money, that ties up some money. So you have to sort of decide, can I live with that being tied up? So what can I say? All right. Buddha says the markets are murder today. Oh boy, are they ever? They're really, really, they're really not fun whatsoever. Oh, good. I love that coffee. Ian says, if I did day trade in my TFSA, how long would it take to learn if I am flagged? Would I get notified in the same tax year? Would the CRA wait until I made a withdrawal? It's probably not even going to happen in the same year, to be honest. There was a big story about a guy who had apparently he had made millions in his TFSA day trading. And it was quite literally a couple of years after he had done this that they came back and then hit him with the tax bills. So, it really depends. Like if you just do a couple, like if you make a mistake and you do it, the odds of you getting in trouble are really, 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 really low. They're not zero, but they're really, 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 really low. A lot of their algorithms are looking for repeat. Now, if you're doing it constantly, your odds are much, much, much higher that you'll get caught. So I always say, you have to sort of gauge your own risk profile. Like if you see one really good deal and you think, oh, if I just do it this once, I can make a small killing. But keep in mind too, if you're doing it for larger amounts of money too, that kind of lowers that thing as well. Because there's a whole bunch of different factors they look at. They look at the amount of money that's involved. They look at the frequency. So there's a couple of factors. So if you're doing it often and with large sums of money, you're almost guaranteeing that you're going to get caught. So like I say, if you've made a couple little mistakes, don't worry about it. You're probably got nothing to worry about. But it's always good to be aware of it. And that way there, at least if you're aware of it and you decide I'm going to do a couple anyway, then you've accepted that extra little risk of doing that. And that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I look at it this way. A lot of portfolios, like especially, if you don't have like a really big portfolio, even if they do catch you, the taxes aren't probably going to be that big, other than the fact if they say every trade is, the profit on every trade is income opposed to capital gains. It really depends on what you're doing, right? So I just say, don't do it. Don't do it unless you're okay with taking a little bit of risk on that. Rory says, I see lower oil as an opportunity. Yeah, I mean, it can definitely be an opportunity for sure. And keep in mind, like with some of the inflation fears right now, oil has definitely helped some of the values. Like when it comes to CPI, like, the last CPI in the US was up a little bit. Also, the one that we had just a couple of days ago in Canada was up, and oil absolutely played a role in that. So, a little bit of retracement now on oil is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. So that'll be kind of fun. All right. Now, guys, I've been playing more and more with, let me grab this here. Let me see here. I'm going to bring this over. So we now have our, let me just see here. Go to products. We're starting to get more and more products, more swag, as you guys have been saying, get the swag, get the swag. So we do have more swag, and I'm adding stuff all the time. So yesterday I added this, a t-shirt, a Holy Banana Bread t-shirt. All right. And this one here has a surprised beaver saying Holy Banana Bread. I'm probably going to make one as well that just says Holy Banana Bread, because not everybody is going to be like, well, I like Holy Banana Bread, but I don't like beavers. So we're going to look at that as well. So we're adding more and more stuff. I think Jonathan was wanting Holy Banana Bread. So I have that. I also added it as a mug as well. So, whoops, here we go. The Holy Banana Bread mug. So I'm just adding whatever you guys want me to add. I'm adding. I'm pretty easy that way. And like I said, I think I said on the last stream, if, for example, you're like, I want the holy banana bread mug, but get rid of the beaver, and I don't want yellow text. I want the text to be red. I want the text to be white. Let me know. I'll make it. I mean, it's not a problem because it's pretty easy now because I can go in. I've got the files for each of these, and I just change the color. So definitely pretty darn easy. Yeah, and like I said, I'm going to continue to add whatever it is you guys want. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I added? Oh, I did add, we got this. This isn't a t-shirt. It's also got a beaver on it. Canada's not for sale. I made that. And we'll get out of here in a moment, guys. We got like the let's pull it up here. We got the Mr. Math mug. There we go. So we're starting to pull things together. You guys tell me what you want. I'll make it. Simple as that. Anyway, that'll be interesting. All right, there we go. All right, Kevin Cass. Kevin Cass is in the house. Yay, I made it. Good afternoon, gang. Hey, I hope you're having a good day. Ian says, I think with AI tax evasion is going to be a lot harder. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole thing too. As AI takes over more and more stuff, there's not going to be judgment calls per se. Everything's going to be a lot more black and white. Like either you followed the rules or you didn't. AI is not going to care if what reason you didn't follow the rules for. So, it could definitely be interesting. And that's the other thing too. Like with the whole, with the Doge and the gutting of the U.S. government, it's like, get AI in place, get AI doing more things. There's a lot. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that you can probably eliminate completely. One thing, and this is already beginning, and I think it's probably going to get there big time pretty fast, is if you look at any kind of contact center, they're pretty much going to become all AI sooner than probably one of the first things to fall. So, and that makes a lot of sense. For one, you can, if you're that angry customer, you can yell at AI till the cows come home, and AI is just going to smile and keep on quoting the rules to you. And the other thing that's nice about that is, number one, if there is, like a lot of times you might call, and if you get an agent who doesn't really know all of the rules or know all of the exceptions, AI will know all of the rules, all of the exceptions. They'll know exactly what they can and can't do for you. The other beautiful thing, and I love this, how many of you guys have called a call center and either you couldn't understand what the agent was saying, or maybe the agent couldn't understand what you were saying, just, because of language barriers. With AI, whatever language you speak, you'll be able to have the AI converse with you in that language. So that will get rid of a lot of that frustration if you do happen to have a more obscure language that they're not offering with a call center. So, like, for example, I know some of the call centers, like I've done a little bit of call center management, and one of the things that we would occasionally get is we'd get somebody who call in, then they might, all of a sudden we get a call and somebody's like, I think they're speaking Cantonese. And then we're sort of rushing around. It's like, do we have anybody in here who speaks Cantonese? We wouldn't have to do that with AI. AI would be perfectly fine. So not too shabby in my opinion. So, if you love talking on the phone and you love call centers, your days might be numbered when it comes to call centers. Whoops, there we go. Kevin Cat says, took the path of least resistance today and shorted a stock. That kind of trading makes me so nervous. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, let's come back here for a moment to it's hard if you're shorting today, you probably were successful unless you were, unless you were off to, if you went to short Bell today, you would have probably, you may have been in trouble depending on strike prices and such, or TELUS. But for the most part, yeah, I think a lot of these, you could have shorted it without too much of an issue. So hopefully you made some money. Hopefully you made some money. Larry says, yeah, I've been waiting for crude oil to drop to $68 or below so I can scoop up UCO 2X crude oil ETF. Yeah, absolutely. And there are, so I know HOD, and I'm trying to remember there is actually a leveraged pro one as well. So they usually will go in both directions. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Like you can get a lot of these leveraged ETFs for pretty much most commodities. You can get bear and bull. So it's kind of a fun thing. I think like if you're looking for one, guys, I'll show you how to find one. If you just come in here, if you just type in like bear in your drop down, you're going to see. So here's the silver bear. A champion bear, okay, a Bear Creek, well, that's not it, that's Bear Creek Mining, but here's some of the beta. So here's the inverse leveraged natural gas one, and HOD, the one we were talking about before. So there are a whole bunch. I think Beta Pro has like, well, let's take a look. I'm pretty sure that they have a ton of them here. Well, let's go to Google. Beta Pro. Oops. Inverse. All right. Here we go. All right. There's Beta Pro. Here's another one, BITI. This is an inverse Bitcoin one. So when Bitcoin is struggling, this one's doing pretty good. Visit betapro.ca. Yes, that's what I want to do. All right. Come on, guys. Come on. It's not doing, it's loading slowly. It's loading slowly. So yes, I accept. All right, let's see here. Does it have a full list here of funds? Let's click on this and take a look. I actually did it a bit. Yeah, here we go. So you got a whole bunch. What is HOU? HOU. Come on, guys. Well, we got a slow ticker. It's not letting me click on them. But guys, just check out if you're interested in playing inverses, especially, if we're in a market that's struggling big time, sometimes it kind of does make sense. But like I will say, absolutely with these, you want to be careful. You want to be careful for sure. So that's how I look at it. All right. Rory says, yeah, I'm not a big fan of shorting. The squeeze is scary. Yeah, absolutely. I know people who absolutely will not short under any circumstances. So yeah, I mean, it's, I guess, at least when you long and things go wrong, you're not hurt as much. But let's see. Kevin Cass says, thankfully, yes. Successful. Awesome. That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear. Let's see. As long as they pay us dividends, the market will recover. Don't panic sell. Yeah, that's the thing. The only time I would panic sell is if I was holding a company and they got into some serious problems. Let's say, for example, the news broke that the entire board was all embezzling from the company. Or let's say, for example, they what's the word? They did something really, really, really dreadful. We'll leave it at that. Use your imagination. In a case like that, I might take a loss because, if you're looking at that and you're like, this may be it for that company, or if you're in a situation where you're invested heavily in a company and the product they're making is all of a sudden irrelevant. So the best example I can think of is Kodak. Kodak back in the day, all of that film. Now they had to pivot, but they had some rough times. So it's a company that had a really bad time as people moved into digital cameras and film. I bet you most Zoomers, if you show them film, they'll be like, "What is that?" It's kind of like that. Jonas Gray says, the curse of swag. I own 3 SS United States coffee mugs and also a t-shirt. But the conservancy failed, didn't it? Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, that is always a danger with swag. I know, like, I think Missy said, I should put the logo on everything, and I'm kind of like, well, if I make a shirt that just says "Holy Banana Bread," as long as Holy Banana Bread means something to you, even if my channel were to completely fail and disappear, and we become dust, a YouTube dust, at least it still means something, right? And somebody might be like, "Oh, that's cute. I'll wear that." It's kind of like that. But it's fun. I mean, I'll, like, quite literally, if one of you said, "Can you make a shirt that says, hello, how are you?" I'll do it. I don't care. I mean, I'm just saying that as a thing. But Rory says, "I sold when TD was caught in corruption. Still won't buy it back." Yeah, and that's another reason right there. If you know, sometimes a company is fine, but a company does something that's apprehensible to your own code of ethics. And there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm gonna take a loss because, I don't agree with this company at all. That's absolutely fine. Holy banana bread. There's a lot of movement on that page. Um, let's just get back to the market. We'll get back to the market where things aren't moving right now because, hey, it's closed. That's the way it goes. So yeah, that's kind of how I look at things when it comes to, when I will sell out of a fund. Absolutely. You know, if like, there are certain things I don't like to support. I'm not very big on, like, companies that make a bunch of money off of things like tobacco, for example. I won't invest in a tobacco company. Now, if I have an ETF that has some mild exposure to tobacco, I'm okay with that. I don't care. But I try to avoid, like, I also don't really invest in alcohol. But like with ETFs, I'm probably got some exposure to them anyway. But I'm okay with that. All right. Kevin Cat says, "LOL, I live in a fifth wheel and it's a bit bouncy when we move around. Thought the dog was moving around, but it turns out it was an earthquake." Oh boy, an earthquake. Where? Trying to think. I know there was. I'm trying to remember where there was someplace strange. I had an earthquake just recently. Um, I can't remember where it was. I don't remember. I thought it was. Uh, I don't know if I was thinking. I don't know. It wasn't Alberta. I don't know where it was, but yeah, I've never. The funny thing is, I've never actually been in an earthquake. Now, I have always wanted to be in an earthquake. Oh, it was Alberta. It was Alberta. Okay, okay. There we go. I was thinking Alberta, um but yeah, no, I've never been in an earthquake, or at least maybe I have and I've never felt it. But many years ago, I was an assistant manager at a toy store, and this was in Calgary, speaking of Alberta. Well, the manager of the store, he all of a sudden started freaking out because a actress who was in Calgary for a play, she was on LA Law. I think her name was Susan Rutu. Well, she came into the store, and he was just going all star crazy and kind of freaking out, and then went running out of the store to go to other stores to let people know that Susan Rutu was in our store. So I went up to Susan and I'm like, "Hey, I'm sorry about that. Let me help you." So, I was showing her some, it was an education and also educational toys. So I was just showing her a few things, demonstrating some stuff for her because she was looking for something for her son. So at the end, anyway, here's the funny part of this. At the end of it, she was like, "Wow." She thanked me. She was like, "You are so really nice. You know what? You can ask me any question you want. Any question. I normally don't do this, but I'll answer any question for you." I said, "Okay, cool." So I threw my question at her. I said, "So what does it feel like to be in an earthquake?" That was my question because she was from LA. So obviously she had been in one. And her response to me was that basically she said, "Put on some high heels, stand on top of the washer during the spin cycle, and it sort of feels a little bit like that." So I was like, to me, that was just really cool. Um, But yeah, anyway, that was my little tangent. And Vic's not here. Vic loves my tangents. Oh boy. All right. Larry says, we're hiding in catch up almost 1/3 of the portfolio instead of holding cash. I'm not using margin except for quick day or month flips. All right. Oh, and Kevin Cass says, this just happened in Nanaimo. Nice. I've actually been to Nanaimo. My aunt lives in Nanaimo. So I was there. Probably the last time I was in Nanaimo was about, oh gosh, it's probably been about 7, 8 years. But I do like Nanaimo for sure. So cool. And it just happened. Okay. Very, very interesting. A funny thing, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Frankie McDonald. I've actually had him on the channel once, but the poor guy, anytime he announces that there was an earthquake somewhere in the world, somebody in his comments will come in and ask him if he caused the earthquake. And then he'll make a little video explaining that he didn't cause the earthquake. I always find that kind of amusing for sure. Ian says, let's see, PLZ has not raised their dividend in many years, was hoping for an increase, but the payout ratio is 237%. Is that going to be a problem? That's a high payout ratio. But I think once REITs get back to where they are supposed to be, that payout ratio will probably normalize quite a bit. Now, another thing with PLZ, actually, let's take a look here. I want to see if we can see this here. We're going to go over to Simply. All right, here we go. And yes. All right, let's go PLZ. All right, come on, Simply. There we go. Plaza REIT here. Perfect. All right, and we're going to come down here to their dividend. All right, let's see here. Here's what I'm looking for. Yeah, so these here, I always find that I like some of the ratios that we see on here. So right now we're actually seeing a 74% payout ratio. This is their by earnings coverage, and then by cash flow 78. So they're pretty close. I'm wondering where you're seeing the other numbers. Let me take a look at Yahoo Finance sometimes as well. Yeah, they should be in check. Let's see here. PLZ. Here we go. All right. So good old Yahoo Finance. Over to your statistics tab. And as we come down here, we got payout ratio. Yeah, so they're showing 237% here. That's interesting. That's interesting because we're getting a completely different, we're getting some really different numbers here from Simply Wall Street. That is very interesting. Okay, well, whenever I get conflicting, I will tend to I will tend to want to go and get another source, but that's interesting. That is very, very interesting. Let's see. Always hit the send button. That happens to me sometimes too. So what can I say? Oh, so it was a 4.9. Okay. That's, well, at least that's not too bad. Not too bad. And you know, I always hear people worrying about, you know, how the West Coast is they're ready for the big one, but hopefully not. But it will, I mean, it'll still happen. Maybe if we're really, really lucky, it'll happen like a couple 100 years from now, but we won't have to deal with it. But, you know, what can I say? It will happen eventually. 7.6%. And I'm N. So you hit the N. Did you hit the enter button again, Ian? What can I say? What can I say? All right, guys, we've been here for about an hour. So if you got your final questions, get them into the chat. I'm gonna have some coffee while you guys are pulling those up. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna pull this down here for a second so you can see it. We got the swag counter up there. So for those of you who don't know what the swag counter is, each month I like to have, we started it this year, we did events. So back in January, sorry, was it January? Yeah, January. We did the bomb. So if we hit the swag, the countdown on the bomb, I did take a teaspoon of it. I did. It was horrible. But we did it. This month we're doing swag. So what happens is, and this month is almost up. So I think we got one more week left. So if we don't hit our 25 thing, this will get pushed into March. We'll start over at 0 again in March. But once we've completed this task, what we're going to do is a swag giveaway. And that's one of the reasons I am starting to load the swag into the store. And the store is now available as well, right on the page. So yeah, we got that happening. And it's going to be fun. I think it'll be fun. So we'll have like, I think, is it 20? What is the 28th? Let me just take a gander here. I believe the 28th here is, yeah. Oh yeah, it's a week from today. So yeah, if we do hit, if we do hit it, then we'll do a stream then just to do the giveaway. So I think that would be fun. That would be fun. And I'll let you guys choose what you want. And heck, even like I said, if you don't like colors on a design, let me know. I'll change it. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen, and then we'll get a piece of swag out to you. So that'll be fun. All right. Ian says, I hit send by mistake again. I'm on the fence, building a cash position or reinvest dividends like I normally do. Well, here's the thing. Let me, I'm going to pull this up once again, only because I haven't been there in a bit. Let's actually bring this up. I almost went in and I'm just going to close a couple of these here, just so that way there I can see it. I almost went in and started to do this without. Oh, this is from last night. We had the channel members live stream last night. So yeah, absolutely. So we're just gonna push this up, give ourselves a blank slate here. All right, I'm just gonna. Typically, when you look at a market, they move like that. They kind of move like that. And actually, you know what? Well, yeah, we'll leave that. We'll leave that. I might make that thicker though, because honestly, here we go. We'll just do it like this. You know, some of you guys are probably viewing on phones and things like that, so make it a little bit easier here. So when it comes to investing, and for that we'll go with this. This will probably look a little Christmassy because I'm using red. Generally, what I like to do is when I'm investing. So I'm going to start. We'll start right here. We're going to start at the end. There we go. We're starting at the end of a bull market or bear market. We're going into a bull cycle. So normally, right about here, my cash position. And then I'm just going to call I will be for investing. Normally, right at the very beginning, my cash position is pretty close to nothing. So it's pretty much zero. So I'll just say I have a zero cash position. And obviously, all my money at that point is invested. So bang, bang, bang. There we go. And what I will then do is as this bull market continues, and I know it goes a while, but as it continues, I will have those points where I'm going to invest. Let's just make big lines. We'll make big lines here. So let's say these are my regular contributions. So what I'm going to do is as we go to the beginning, I might slowly here start putting a little bit in. Like maybe I'll have, 1% of my new contributions will go into cash, 99% E. There we go. I probably need that's why my weight was really, really low. All right, there we go. And I'll have about 99% in still investing. So as we move a little bit deeper, once we're about here, for example, I may be like 5%, then 95%. And the deeper I go into this bull market, the higher this will go. So up towards the end, I may very well get to a point where I'm like 10% of all of my investing is going straight into cash. The other 90%. And if it gets if it gets really long, I might even get to a point where, I could get to a point where I'm at 25, 75, depending on the length of the bull market. We don't know how long it's going to go. But what then happens is keep in mind, as we fall into the bear market, usually the first couple of little ticks in the bear market might still be going into like this because I don't know, nobody knows, but I don't know that we're into a bear market. And then, of course, as we're in the bear market, I will start doing the opposite. In this case here, I am going to, I will still be investing all of the money. Like pretty much all of my money will be, once I'm confirmed that we're in a bear market, I'll be 0, 100. So I'm buying all of these stuff that's on sale, plus the cash that I built up. Let's say I have 100% of the cash that I built up here. Well, as we're going down, I'm going to be, I'm going to start knocking it down. So, maybe 5% each tick, 95, 90, as I'm working my way down. And like I said, even when we do go into the new bull market, we don't know that we're in there. I'm probably still working on emptying this cash. And by the time my cash is empty, so let's say my cash is empty here and we have 0% cash left. The fact that we've been going up for a while, at that point, I kind of got the feeling that we're in the bull market again. And I just start this cycle all over again, once again. So, definitely a good way to go. So like I said, and this is how I do it. And I think Warren Buffett does a similar way. I don't know if his is very as much streamlined or almost like a reverse dollar cost average. I think in his cases, he sees a really good deal and he'll just take a big chunk of profits off the table. And it doesn't hurt. You can do it that way too. Like you may just sort of do your normal investing, but then you have, let's say you have a stock that goes up, there's some good news on that stock. You could then take like a good chunk of profits off of that, drop that into your cash position. You could build your cash position that way. There's so many different ways that you can do it. But when you get to that bear market, if you have built up a cash position, you're going to thank yourself for it. Future you will thank current you for it, for sure. All right. Anish says, what do you think about the future for DE? So, DE. Let's head on over here. All right, what is that? Decisive Dividend, I think they're called. Decisive Dividend Corporation here. So they're into they do storage. I have loved this company, but they have fallen. They had for the longest time they were doing so well. And I rode this up, and I did get off up in here because once I saw that this was happening, I could see that correction coming. I didn't realize they were going to correct as much as they did, but they had a pretty big correction. I still think they're a good company. I still think they'll be fine on the other side. However, I think tariffs will definitely delay. I don't think you're going to see them back up here at $11 anytime soon. I think tariffs are going to delay this whole thing. So if you didn't get off the train when I did, and you bought up in this area, your best bet, you got a couple options. One, you can take a loss if you want to. I mean, I wouldn't, but you could. Or, you could always add a bit more to it and dollar cost average your adjusted cost base down. So you'd adjust it down. You're averaging down a little bit. That might be another option as well. Now they do have that's not a huge dividend, but right now it looks huge, 8.78%. I know when I was investing in it, it was much smaller, but keep in mind, we were playing up towards the top of the mountain there. So, all right. Larry says banana bread swag. I need some. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, let me know what you guys want. I will make it. I'm pretty lenient that way. And also sometimes I'll get a challenge. Why video says, hi, Candace. I don't know if you already covered it, but a video about stock filters could be interesting. I don't know if you use them, but some criteria and ranges suggestions would be nice. Yes, actually, I did make a video about that, but it was actually for the channel members. So I don't think I've made one for everybody else. So that might be something I could definitely look at doing. I don't know when I'll fit it in, but it is something I'll definitely think about doing. But yeah, I mean, I will use, I'll show you right now. I'll just show you guys a couple little things here. So one of Actually, right here, I was gonna pull this page up, but TMX Money, they have stock screener here as well. So one of the things I will do here is through their tools, they have a stock screener and they also have an ETF screener as well. But we'll just do a stock screener for now. So I will pull this up, and as you can see, right now you've got lots of different options. So one of those things, like I love return on equity. So I'll just write in return, and here it is, return on equity. So that is something I definitely love. So with that filter, for example, I'll put in return on equity. I'll add that filter. All right. And then it's going to give me underneath. Right now, it's pretty much everything because I don't have anything in here. So I'm going to say I absolutely love if somebody has more than 20% return on equity. I love that. And that will filter out a whole bunch of different companies. Now, there we go. So we still have a ton of companies here. We got 3 pages of companies. Now, I will look at other filters. Like using one filter is fantastic, but you can use a couple of different filters. So let's say, for example, I also want to have, I want to have a low debt company. I'm looking for a low debt company at the same time. So I might put in here, I'll just type in, whoops, come on guys. Let's type in debt. All right. There we go. It wasn't, it was being a little bit, there we go. Hello, DEBT. There we go. Debt to equity ratio. I'm going to add that as well. So there we go. Right down here, debt to equity, put it in, we'll add it. So we have one filter. Now we have a second filter. So I'm going to say with a debt to equity ratio, I'm looking for a lower debt to equity. 0 is fantastic, but I don't want it to go above. Let's say I do not want it to go above 1. We'll just put a 1 in there. So now you'll notice we had 3 pages of results, and now we have, we now apparently have 10 pages of results. How did we manage to do that? Just a second here. Let's try this one. Oh, it refreshed. It refreshed my return on equity. So there we go. We'll put the 20 back in. There we go. Yeah, when something doesn't mathematically go the way you're expecting it, it points a problem. So you go back and check and find out what it is. And now we're down to 2 pages because we had 3 pages before. So this filter has taken us down to 2 pages. So this is fantastic. Now, I don't like penny stocks. So I could go, for example, right now, I could look at stock price and we'll add a filter. So let's say I don't want to touch anything. Well, penny stocks for one would take it. Oh, look at this. It's doing this to me every single time. I don't like that. All right, 20. So yeah, normally it doesn't do that. So there's something going on with this page right now, but that's fine. We're working around it. So stock price, I want them to have at least a stock price. Let's just say $5. Let's say that's what I want. All right. So now this has gotten rid of the penny stocks out of this list. And when we come down, you'll notice we only have 1 page now. Now that might be enough for me because then I can go and I can say, okay, well, how do I want to sort this? Maybe I want to sort this by performance. I'll click on performance. And what am I interested in? Maybe I'm interested in, well, how they've done over the last year. So I can use my filter here and I can take a look. So right now, CLS at the top. So they have that, that should be roughly about 250%. So they've absolutely exploded in the last year. And I can open that in a new tab. And to clarify that, let's go to that 1 year. Well, yeah, look at this. They were down at 61. So yeah, that is one of the ways I will find it. Now, I know right away, I know they do not, they have a debt to equity ratio less than 1. So if I come up in here and go into their key data and go to their debt to equity ratio, here it is right here, 52%. So fantastic. That's even better than what I was asking for. And I also know they've got above 20. So they got a 21.21. So 21.21% return on equity. I'm loving it. And they're, of course, much more expensive, but this is a good company. So this here is Celestica. So that is, we're not going to go too much deeper, but I just wanted to show you a quick little example of how I could use it to find a company. Now, if I had never been introduced to Celestica before, I might look at them and say, oh my God, this is interesting. So, very, very cool. Let's see, like, I know you like high. There we go. That was the first one I went to. That was the first one I went to for sure. And it boils down to the why videos. The other thing too is it boils down to what I'm looking for. When I'm looking for total return stocks, that is where I will definitely, ROE will be a big factor for me. If I'm looking for higher income, it may not pay as much. It may not be as important. It really depends on what I'm looking for, especially like when I'm looking for stocks to create a list. I have different criteria, and I will usually mention in my list videos what criteria I used. So you could theoretically use the same criteria and come up with a similar list using either this or there's a couple of other. I also will use, there's a really good screener as well as part of TradingView. I'll use that one as well. All right, Bismarcky is in the house with a good afternoon. Let's see. Hope you all stayed up late to watch the hockey game last night. I didn't. It's funny. I was like, well, one, I don't think I had it on. I would have had to go to I would have had to find a place online that I could have watched it. But I was very, very happy that that Canada won, and it was interesting too. Normally, when I do my Thursday night channel member stream, I normally have a good handful of people in the stream. But last night, I didn't have very many people in. Everybody's watching it on the replay, and I realized, I'm competing against the hockey game. So. Yeah, that was fun. Rory says, it was fun watching 97 get the game winner. Yeah, overtime. There's nothing better than Canada beating the United States in overtime for sure. Larry says, just try not to get stuck on the hill. Exactly, yeah. Does the E pay an eligible dividend? I believe it is. I believe it is. I mean, they are a Canadian company, so there's no reason that there wouldn't be eligible. But you can always double check on their website just to going through investor relations. But yeah, in this case here, yeah, it should be eligible. Niece says, I was thinking of getting in, but they need to get their income stable and so on. If they do that, but thanks for your input. Yeah, I mean, I like them, but like I said, they may have a bit of rough time ahead of them because where they do a lot of storage, that could definitely be impacted by whatever is going to happen with these tariffs. But it could be impacted in a good way too. I mean, if they're, with a storage model, if all of a sudden companies need to use more storage because they can't ship stuff to the US because of decreased demand, maybe that would work out well for them, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see as we get into the tariffs. Larry says, I've made the most money off of things I stumbled upon. As Charlie said, being curious is what made Warren all his money. Charlie Munger. When I was reading that, Larry, when you said, as Charlie said, my mind first went to Charlie in the chocolate factory. I don't know why, but it did. That's hilarious. Paul says, BC just had a 5.1 earthquake near Selch about 20 minutes ago. Okay. Yeah, we were hearing Kevin Cass mentioned that she felt it in Nanaimo. So 5.1. Ooh. Now it's interesting. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna quickly look in my Google here. Yeah, now Google's reporting 4.8. Let's see here. Magnitude 4.8, depth of 10 kilometers. And I'll show you guys this here. Let's just pull it over here. There we go. So this here is my readout. British Columbia, Canada. So yeah, universal time, location. So 23.8 kilometers northeast of Shelt, Canada. So let's see. I wish I would have had Nanaimo listed in here too, so we'd know the distance. I don't know why, but I signed up to this this list from the USGS a long time ago. So anytime there's an earthquake, it drops into my email. So fun. Anyway, that's that. We'll leave that alone. All right. AA says, I just need to pull this screen here back. While ATD stock is going down, the most analysis giving it high ratings with 80 to 90 target price. This is really confusing. Not sure what to make out of it. So right now, and I got out of ATD while they were closer to their high because of one of it was the whole takeover idea of 7-Eleven, because they were planning to dilute shares to be able to pay for that if that had gone through. Now, right now, I don't know what the status or if they've given up on that right now, but I still think they're going to be good long term. But I think there could be a little bit of roughness. I think everybody's going to have a little bit of roughness in the next little bit. If we go into a recession, ATD could be a stock I actually start to pile on a little bit, because I do think that they have very, very good long-term potential, because it's one of those things too. Corner stores, they tend to do well. Even in a recession, they tend to do well. Dollarama is another one I think that will do really well if the economy completely hits the fan. All right, here we go. Y Video says, thank you very much. Oh, you're welcome. Jay says, I'm considering transferring from Wealthsimple to Questrade now that offers zero commission trade. I do miss more advanced features. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I'll check right now. I will check right now just in case they did it right at the end of the day, but it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Give me a second here. Questrade. See if they got my thing working yet or not. It's frustrating that it's taking so long, because I know there's a bunch of people who want my affiliate code, and I'm like, I'm trying. Oh, there we go. Sometimes I find that if it's a little chilly in the room, my fingerprint doesn't work as well when it comes to the thing. Yes, I know, Paul. I see you there. I see you there. All right, I'm going in. I'm taking a look. It's not looking good right now. It's not looking good from the onset here. Rewards and referrals. Here we go. Yes, here's what I'm looking at. I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at right here. It's sorry, this information isn't available right now. Please try again later. That's been the story here. So if it's not up on Monday, I'm gonna reach out to the chat again, because I'm like, seriously, guys, come on. Let's get this. So this is one downside to Questrade. I know when I signed up initially, the very first time I signed up with Wealthsimple, quite literally, I signed up and I had everything working. Had my affiliate code and everything in like less than an hour. So now part of it might be maybe they're getting a lot of interest. I know I've actually seen some Questrade commercials. I saw the guy who plays Harvey Specter in his Harvey Specter character doing a Questrade commercial. I'm like, okay, interesting. But hopefully sooner than later. I'll still check it through the weekend just in case, the back end they get something working on it. Whoops, I just jumped over two people. All right. Let's see. Last night was the first night Trudeau went to bed happy in years. I bet. I will bet. Absolutely. And that question, I will have it soon. AA says, Wealthsimple is offering 2% bonus if you move certain amount of money. I am seriously thinking about it. Not sure if this is worth it though. Yeah, I think it's on I believe it's your RRSP. If you move your RRSP to Wealthsimple, they're offering you that bonus. So, it's one of these situations, like you can have multiple. And here's one of the things, like once I have my code, I'll be able to, you'll be able to sign up using it and you'll get $50. They'll give you $50. I think you do have to deposit, I believe, $250. But then they give you $50. They give me $50 too. So that goes to the channel. That's not a bad deal. And, even if it's a situation that, you sign up and you get your free $50, invest it in something, turn it into more. Rory saying battle of the 0% commissions begins. Yeah. Well, with Questrade going over, and now with so many 0% commission opportunities out there, you gotta wonder if the big banks, if the other five, I mean, National Bank's already there, you gotta wonder, are they going to maybe start thinking about it? All right. Andrew says, PRL just came out with a T bullish Dixie increase and it's selling off huge. Interesting. Paul says, worst case, I'll use a Quest trade referral from a Canadian YouTuber that does lots of MSTY CONYNYVD videos later next week. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah, if I don't have it, if I don't have it by Monday or Tuesday at the latest, Paul, yeah, do that for sure. Like I said, I'll bug them on Monday, like what's going on, you know? Um, and I hopefully they don't push me through the setup process again. I'm like, oh my God. So it's kind of that thing like, let's get it going. Let's get it going. All right. All right, guys. That's about an hour and a half. This is one of our longer ones. I like it. I'm hoping you guys all have a fantastic weekend. We will of course be back on Sunday for this week, which is always fun. And got lots of news, and I got at least one fun story. Well, sort of fun, maybe not so much, but I'll be watching the news, of course, on the weekend because for some reason, with Donald Trump in power, the weekend seems to be a point in time when he likes to do things, crazy things. So we'll have to sort of see how it goes. Jay says, I love passive to monitor protection, either where stocks growths and it's free for Quest Trade, more reason to transfer. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, passive is a good, I like passive as well. Paul says, moving from Wealthsimple, do I need cash in each account for the transfer fee for each account? No, I don't think so. I think I don't, as far as I know, and I'm new to Quest Trade, but my understanding is you only need the cash in one account to be able to get your $50. You're not going to you won't get it for each account, obviously, but I think it's only one. You get it once, and I think it's once per your lifetime as well. When it comes now, if you refer other people, then you'd get cash from them as well. All right. Mary Finn says, thank you. Lie. Okay. I was gonna say like and lie. It's like, I like it. And what's my lie? Oh, I've just been made the secret Prime Minister of Canada. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah. All right. Anyway, guys, on your way out. Oh, Paul says, I mean, what Wealthsimple charges for leaving? I don't think they have a charge. Technically, you're not really, well, unless you're, because if you're transferring accounts, that's another story. There's definitely charges on that. And I don't know what, once you get yourself set up in Quest Trade, check and see what they offer. Because I know that, like with Wealthsimple, when you're transferring accounts in there, they'll pay a certain amount of those fees up to a certain limit. I'm pretty sure that Quest Trade does a similar thing, but you'd have to take a look. We'll get this all figured out this week coming up. I can't wait. I just can't wait. I actually can't wait to see some of their tools. Now, some of the tools that they do have is they have pretty good. I like their lists. Like you can create a whole bunch of multiple watch lists in there too, and I'm liking that. I've already started playing with that a little bit, so that is absolutely fun. But all right, guys. Every time I go to leave, I get distracted. That's okay. I don't mind. Guys, we will see you on the weekend on this week on Sunday. It'll be a great show. And if you haven't watched today's video yet, be sure to check that out. It is currently live. So until next time, guys, have a fantastic afternoon, and I'll see you guys Sunday. Take care, everyone.